Jordan, Ambassador Friedman, Commissioner Perino, Professor Reichman, Mr. Shavid, Dr. Ganor, esteemed colleagues, friends. It's truly an honor to be here tonight. And I want to thank Professor Ganor, the ICT and the IDC for this opportunity. On 9/11/2001, as a young lieutenant stationed in Germany, having just come back from a deployment to Kosovo, I wouldn't have believed that life would lead me to Israel for a fellowship in a country that knows terrorism on 9/11's 16th anniversary. 9/11 is a date that after 16 years continues to reverberate around the world, not only with memories of over 3,000 lives lost, but also with the acknowledgement that 9/11 was a seminal moment in history, one in which a new evil catapulted onto the world stage. The world came to understand the struggles that countries like Israel has faced with radicalism for decades. Although 9/11 attacks happened on US soil, it was by no means a US-centric event. The attacks sent tidal waves around the world, resulting in new best practices, legislation, international cooperation, defense cooperation, intelligence sharing, and deployments, all underlining the need for us to fight together terrorism globally. Tonight, we represent 60 nations and numerous backgrounds exemplifying the complex, interdisciplinary, and global nature of countering terrorism. We may come from different ends of this planet, but what unites us, what gives us commonality, is our stories and experiences about how terrorism has directly affected our personal and professional lives, as well as the lives of our countrymen. And how do we, professionals who have some of the most intimate knowledge of the counterterrorism fight, best memorialize the victims of terrorism and ensure the deaths of those killed on the 9/11 attacks, or the Second Intifada, or more recently in the UK, France, Germany, Sweden, Spain, Florida, have significance, and also to memorialize those that have given their lives tracking and killing terrorists. I believe we allow their memories to drive our efforts to better understand the evolving nature of terrorism, so that our family, our children, our businesses, our tourists, our citizens can go about their lives without fear and without losing another loved one to terrorism. We fight so that our children's greatest worry is their next sporting event or school requirement, or in my daughter's case, next time she can go visit the Tel Aviv Zoo and see monkeys, not the latest tactic or technique employed by a terrorist group. I know we have it in us to prevail in the fight, and to do so by remaining on the moral and ethical high ground. As a company commander in Iraq, at the height of al-Qaeda and Iraq's strength, I witnessed that fighting spirit and resilience. Whether it was my soldiers who mounted up for the next mission despite having lost one of their own to a sniper, or had to respond to several of their own seriously injured in an explosively formed penetrator, yet steadfastly continued the mission. And I do painfully understand the anguish of losing someone, to have to return without one of your own soldiers, and to look their parents in the eyes and explain to them or answer all their questions about how it could have happened. But my experiences with al-Qaeda in Iraq taught me that there are always amazing, talented people, civilian and military, like those sitting in the audience, willing to fight terrorism ethically and morally, and if necessary, to lay down their lives doing it. We must let these personal stories and other similar stories of unity and heroism inspire us to counter the radical propaganda. And we don't have to look far for inspiring stories of resilience, such as just 2 nights ago, the parents of Olivia Campbell made an extremely emotional return to Manchester Arena for a benefit concert, the same venue where their 15-year-old daughter was one of the 22 victims of terrorism in May. Her parents told reporters, "We aren't scared and no one's going to beat us." Wow, what strength. So tonight, we honor the victims of terrorism by remaining resolute in our fight. We have prevailed and we will continue to prevail together. We will never provide the terrorists an opportunity to disrupt or deter our efforts to degrade their capabilities and to reduce their motivation to radicalize and conduct attacks. Finally, as you remember tonight, Take a moment to reach out to those who have lost a loved one to terrorism and the fight against terrorism, whether it's an email, a phone call, a visit, a virtual hug. Remind them we will never forget. They need to hear it, and they also need to know. Thank you very much.